Hello, sorry, we seem to have lost the feed there for a second. Not sure what happened exactly. Just hopefully you can reconnect. There we go. And we'll just wait a second or two, make sure everything is working all right. I'll just wait a little moment. Hello, hello, hello. Sorry, don't know what happened there. Hopefully you can find your way back. I see one person coming back. There we go, two. There we are. Hello, welcome back. I don't know what happened there. Thank you so much for finding us again. Hello, Cheryl. Hello, Paula. Thanks. Thanks for coming back. It's very exciting. Hello, Paula. All right. Okay, good. All right. So I don't know what happened there. Everything's hooked up fine. Sometimes these little technical glitches happen. And let's get into it. All right. Maybe I'll just, hey, Kimberly, welcome. All the way halfway around the world. There we go. All right, so I think everything's working all right. Thank you everybody for being here. Sorry for the technical glitch there. Okay, let's get into it. So we were doing, when the camera interrupted, we were doing a rejuvenation breath, breathing in and then exhaling. Let's just do a few more of those. And breathing in. Hold the breath, cup. And exhale. One more time. Good. All right, and now we'll do the prana shake. So breathing in, we're going to draw energy up into our body, close the circuits, and then shake the cerebral spinal fluid and shake the spinal column. All right, so settling and tuning in, drawing in energy. Hold the breath, close the circuits, and good. And relax. Feel how your body feels. And while you're relaxing, I'll just talk a little bit. So you perhaps have noticed that when I exhale, I go all the way to the last drop of breath. And the reason for doing that, the way my teacher used to explain it, was that when you empty out your breath completely, you sort of challenge your mind to find a quiet state, to not, well, essentially not panic, because it's a really big stress on the body not to have any air or oxygen or breath, but it's under your control. So the anxiety or tension you might be feeling is like all self-created. So you are in control, and you can use that as a challenge, a test, an opportunity to learn to quiet your mind even when there's like a little faint hint of stress. And that's just it's one of the ways in which you can practice the Panther quality of mind of being able to work with fear. And that's one of the themes that we're going to hit today quite strongly with the Panther. Panther is the master of fear. And it's not in terms of fear being contained and suppressed and repressed and controlled. You don't put your fear in an iron box, you breathe through it. So there's that lovely expression, fear is exhilaration without breath. And the basic difference between somebody who can use their fear in a tight situation or difficult situation is, sorry, I lost a person who's able, what separates a person who's able to use their fear under stress is a person who is the breath. That's what separates one type of person from the other. Being able to return to the breath and use it as a tool to get back on course. So we're going to be returning to that practice today. So with the breathing, you empty out. To the last drop of breath. And you'll notice there's a little bit of like, what's going on that's happening in your body. And what you do is you calm yourself down. You try to return to a place of neutrality, mentally and even physically, even though you're not breathing. And then when you breathe in, you return to that calm state. So you're practicing that confrontation of mortality with each of those breaths. And the way that, and that was how my teacher used to talk about it, is that it's the practice of the warrior to confront mortality, to confront death, even in a small form. It's a really useful practice. It recurs in other martial arts that I've trained in as well, that taking yourself to the end of your breath. Okay, so that's our prana shake. Let's do the boa. So breathing, relaxing, feel your body, feel your lungs, your circulatory system, delivering oxygen to every one of your tiny, small capillaries. Feel your skin. You're breathing through the pores of your skin. Feel your lymphatic system, your digestive system. And touch base with that quiet core of empathy. As though your empathy is moving you and drop down, bend in the knees, curl down, palms against the inside of the barrel. You're rolling the melon up. Brush the cobwebs off of the eyes. Turn the feet open. Turn the feet parallel as you hug the world, stop the world. Relax any unnecessary thoughts. Bring the world in. Let it go. One more time. And dropping down. Caressing the back of the barrel behind you, around you. Turn the feet open as the arms come up. Brush the cobwebs from the eyes. Feet parallel. Stop the world. Hold the world. Bring it in. And let it out. And feel what your body feels like. You can have the mudra, your thumb on the second joint of the index finger. And breathe in deep. Fill the beach ball up with air. Exhale, empty the beach ball out of air. Good. Good. Excellent. All right, so let's do a little bit of the Black Panther. Let's do the bow. Let's do some of the moves we did yesterday. And I wanted to play with you, show you some really fun moves from one of the Panther forms that some of the viewers here know from way back when. So it's a little bit of a throwback Thursday, a little bit of a shout out to the past. So let's get into it. And so let's do the bow. Let's take a moment. Feel the tendons and ligaments of the body. Feel that lower melon, and it's like heavier. It's not changing location, but it feels heavier and lower. And feel your tendons and ligaments like they're straws, and you're breathing into those tendons and ligaments on the inhale, and you're exhaling from them when you breathe out. And remember that flagpole at the back of your body. So when when the flagpole is loose, you're dropping down. So just relax. Just let your body sink down. And then as the flagpole gets pulled, the back line, the back rope over this flagpole, as it gets pulled down, it raises you and it lifts up the front of your body as well. Okay, just like a flagpole. All right, and so breathing in and exhaling, settling down in yourself. Inhale, fill up with breath. The back is being pulled down, which lifts up the front. Exhale. Exhaling from your tendons and ligaments like they're straws. Inhaling. And exhale. Good. One more layer, the inside yin skin of the joints. So especially as you exhale, you feel the inside cups of the joints deepen and lengthen as much as possible. So you're creating this like trampoline tension throughout your body at each of the joints. And so breathing in. Breathing in through the tendons and ligaments. And then as you exhale, cup the yin side of the joints. As you settle on yourself and sink a little bit. And breathe in deep. Good. Okay, we're going to add the movement in a second, but I want to add one more layer. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in through the tendons and ligaments, into the tip of the tailbone, the groin, and the belly. And that's a lot. There's a whole circuit. I'll tell you what the whole circuit is. We may or may not do the whole thing. I've been debating about this, but you're breathing in to the tip of the tailbone, the groin, the belly button, and then up into the brainstem. All on the inhale, and then all on the exhale, you flush down. So basically you're touching base with your vestigial tail. You're touching base with your center of sensuality and reproductive alchemy. And then you're grounding and you're filling up your center of physical power. All of these are key to Panther. You're also, so you fill up this way, and then it comes up the back. It sort of does like a little zigzag. It sort of loops, goes to the tailbone, goes to the front, and up, and then loops back to the back of the spine. You can just do it all in one shot. That's not really that important. But you're bringing the energy up, and it comes up to the back of the brainstem, and this is the storehouse of ancestral memory. So this is the brain neural center for Panther. So Panther represents the subconscious, and it's also the gateway. It's also the storehouse of all of those instinctive responses that have helped us in our survival as a species. And those reflexes, those instincts, are stored within the brainstem, within the cerebellum. And so that's what you're breathing into during the bow. So again, let's keep this simple. Just think in terms of things of your breath coming up gradually, like a water level, up to the tailbone, the pubic bone, the belly button, and then up the spine, up to the brainstem. And that's happening on the in-breath. And then on the out-breath, you exhale from all of those centers out through the tendons and ligaments of your body, especially your hands and your feet, back into the earth. So this is the Panther bow in all its glorious fullness. Okay. All right, so let's bring it together, shall we? So let's do it without the movement first. So breathing in through the straws of the tendons and ligaments. Let that back rope of the flagpole pull you up. As you exhale, deepen the cups at the insides of the joints. And breathe in, same thing. Tendons and ligaments, flagpole, and breathing up into the tailbone, pubic bone, belly button, and up into the brainstem. Exhale from the brainstem and the tailbone, pubic bone, belly button, and out through your tendons and ligaments as you deepen the cups. And breathe in, tendons and ligaments, flagpole, tailbone, groin, belly button, back of the brainstem. Exhale, brainstem, belly button, groin, tip of the tailbone as you deepen the cups and relax. And in through the tendons and ligaments. One more time. And exhale. Good. And triangle at the groin. Fill up the pubic bone area with energy as though the triangle is like a magnifying glass. And then you flip the triangle and send the energy from the pubic bone up into your belly button center. And standing. And then you can have the finger mudra of the panther. And I'll just show you again what that's like. So you curl the first two fingers down to the root of the joint, and then you take the thumb and you touch the first joint of the ring finger, and voila. You have that in both hands, and your hands just stand by the side. So again, with Panther, I kind of have this like slinky kind of feeling after I'm done. I don't want to stand erect at attention like Tiger. I'm a lot more like loose and relaxed. All right. Good. Okay, so that's the back of Panther. Let's do a little bit of fun movement. Let's review what we did yesterday. So these are exercises you can do to cultivate tendon and ligament resilience. So let's do the first simpler one. And let me do it just smoothly first so you can see it. Let's do it to the side a little bit. So boom, out, drop, pick up the laundry, spring out, come down, up, and down, up, forward, down, pick up the laundry, out to the sides, fan the fingers down, fan the fingers up, press down. So that's the sequence. And I kept this simple yesterday where we just had hand motion, but your feet are busy too. So what you're doing is that as the arms go up, the heels come up. So you can do that. If that's too much for you, don't worry about the feet, just keep them flat. But if you want to add an extra little level of fun and deliciousness, you can get the feet involved in it as well. Okay? So let's go through it slowly. And up, you're like a seal clapping. So, and your fingers are pointing down as the wrists come up. Then it's rich hand out, drop down, pick up the laundry, fingers go out, come down, fingers are, palms are up, and palms press down. And up, forward, and down, and out to the sides, and drop. That's it. Good. So this is Black Panther tendon and ligament exercise. And let's come to a stand. And just feel what your body feels like. And we'll do it again. And I just want to explain the quality a little bit more, so you, so you can gain the benefit from it. So while you're doing this, when you're doing the Black Panther tendon and ligament motion, you're keeping that sense of the yin side of the joints as being as long as they can and as deep as they can the whole time. But it's not forced. You keep extending, you keep thinking them longer and deeper, but just before the cusp of muscular tension. So, you know, one of the fun things about training in Qinlong is that it gives you a chance to focus on each system of the body and the kind of particular attention that system needs in order to be healthy. And most of the time when people think about exercising, we're thinking in terms of musculature. So we're thinking in terms of against a weight, we're thinking of an concentric contraction or eccentric contraction. There's force involved. If you work a lot with machines, it's like, you know, you're isolating one body part. And it's true, muscles require resistance in order to get thicker or to grow more fibers. Connective tissue is a little bit different. Connective tissue is amoebic. It's always changing shape, and it responds within about 20 minutes to whatever action you're executing. And the load is not going to make that much of a difference. It's really about the shape. And so you have to be a little bit more delicate with connective tissue. You have to give it just enough tension that you're goading, you're coaxing, you're leading the connective tissue and the cells to grow in the direction you want them to, without doing too much work that you engage the muscles and you're telling them to do their thing, while you're blowing the connective tissue out of the water and damaging or straining it. So it's a subtle kind of tension. It's a little bit like if you're just hanging out and standing, and you've been standing for a while, and you shift your weight to load onto another leg, and you feel that sort of nice quality of settling down. That's the kind of feeling you're going for in each one of your joints. It's that cushiony. That kind of cushiony feeling. You're looking for a cushiony feeling as you're moving. Another cue that I think of is I want to move as slowly as I can, as smoothly as I can, so I can feel the connective tissue underneath, so I can feel the connective tissue of the joint that I'm moving sliding on the underneath side of the skin. I want to move that fluidly, that fluidly. And that will cultivate the quality of the panther. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do it again, and we'll do the motion, and this time focusing on the motion with that quality in mind. So it's not, let me do it wrong for you. So it's not like, this is Tiger doing it. Or even this. The movement's the same, but the quality of the motion is all tight and resistant. It's all about the muscle. With Panther, it's more viscous. I'm all tight now. Okay, so with Panther, I'm focusing not on bringing up, but I'm focusing on making big circles with each of the joints, like we talked about yesterday. So big circles with each of the joints. And I'm moving fluidly, not without much tension, through those big circles. And it's kind of hard to describe this, but what I'm looking for is to not get tired in like one particular line. What I want to feel is, again, as if I was standing like on my two legs or on both legs for a long time, and I wanted to get comfortable, I'd shift my line a little bit and find a different focus, a different line of pressure. I'm kind of doing the same thing with my arms as I'm moving. When I encounter a line that I'm feeling tension in, I just relax a little bit, or I slightly micro adjust, slight little rotation off of that line of tension while still doing the basic motion. And what that does is that it distributes tension all throughout the connective tissue. Every little fiber gets a chance to play. That's the idea. Okay? So, pulling up and forward. So it should feel nice and delicious. Let the elbows drop. Let the shoulders keep dropping. If I keep letting my elbows and shoulders relax and drop, I'll be better able to feel the bone and the muscles sliding along the inside of the connective tissue, along the inside of the skin. And that's the quality that Panther likes to move with. And if you do it enough, then sure, after a while, it can become really quick. You don't have to do it slow, but that smoothness is what you're after. That smoothness, you don't do it quick to make it smooth, you do it smooth so that the quickness comes. Okay? So that's a little bit of the Panther. That's the basic, the tendon and ligament exercise. Let's do it a little bit and then we'll do the second one. Good. All right, good. And then stand. Good stuff. Okay. Okay, let's do the other Black Panther tendon and ligament exercise. Same kind of idea. So this one, you feel the flagpole rope be pulled down, and when it gets pulled down, it pulls the shoulder down, which lifts the arm up. So you have this quality. And so it's 1, 2. So back leg, and then the front leg pulls you. So 1, 2, and 1, 2. And then spring on top with your claws. And pull. You have that metaphor, that image of holding like large, I don't know, cans of pickles or something. And you're tilting the cans over, the big jars over. And then the hands slide across. And same thing on the other side. 1, 2. And spring. And claw. And slide across, and 1, 2, and spring and slide across. Let's do this slow so you get a chance to feel the connective tissue. One more time. Good. And stand. And feel what your body feels like. And I'm just going to check and see if there's any messages here that I should be aware of. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all. Wow. Thank you. Hello, Susanna. Hello, Joy. Hello, Jenny. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Okay, so that's a little bit of the Panther. And let's do a little bit of fun kung fu. So this is a part of the form from Black Panther. And if I do a second challenge or start posting up classes, I'll probably start posting up classes about how to do the forms. But this one's fun, it's very doable. So Panther, each of the animals has a particular fighting style. So boa, if you were to look at the boa form, it looks like this. It's very much like Tai Chi in terms of quality, some of the moves. So that's a bit of the quality. Tiger, you've seen a little bit. And panther is a little bit different. So panther, this is part of the panther form. That gives you a taste of them. So you can see how the quality of the animal personality is expressed in each of those sets of motion. So boa floats. Its awareness, its empathy is rippling out in all directions. And its awareness is kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like all these waves of awareness rippling out, and you're just surfing the waves of that empathy and the direction of the unconscious. It's slow. You go so slow, you slow the passage of time. And if you're going slow, go slower. Tiger, it's all straight and linear. It's about power, direction. And I hope you could see it in the panther. It's small, circuitous, small little circular actions. And it's a lot of multiple strikes. Let's see now. Want to say something else? No, that's it. So so you can see the personality expressed in the movement of the animals. And by doing the motion and emphasizing the animal personality, you build that bridge between the mind and the body. So that kind of play acting quality, which is not really play acting, it's really alchemy. It's really training yourself to be able to shift modes while you're moving and breathing, without having to think about it. You can just shift. So that's what the practice of this art is about. And yes, there's great self-defense stuff in it, and yes, I can take care of myself, but the emphasis of the art is in that direction of personal development. Okay, so let's do a little bit of the Black Panther form. It's fun. So here we go. You're a small little cat, and something is coming at you, and you're going to hop to the side. And you're just going to keep everything close in. So I'll just move over here. And so something is coming at you, and you move out of the way. And you protect yourself. You have like your little body shield here. And also, you're going to say, no, not that. No, not me. So you're going to hop to the side and put your hand, you're just going to flick something away. And hop and flick. And hop and flick. And you flicked and you caught something. So you're going to grab it again. All right? And so you hop, flick, and catch. All right? And then strike. Little Black Panther claw. And so you hop to the side, you kind of come down a little bit, knee comes up, grab, two, and claw. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. One more time. And 1, 2, 3. Good. Let's add just a little bit more. And 1, 2, 3. Let your leg go out to the side. Goes from your knee to diagonally away from the knee, and then hooks in, and then up. So your leg does this. It goes out, in, and down and up. All right? So let's try it together. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more time. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good. Okay. So that gives you a little taste of the panther form. And yeah, while you're doing that, you're feeling your tendons and ligaments. You're breathing in and out from your tendons and ligaments. You're feeling the flagpole rope at the back, all that stuff with the joints. And you feel like your center of gravity is way low. It's as if you have a really plumb, like your pelvis is like a plumb line, like the weight on the end of a plumb line, and you're just constantly being pulled straight down. Okay, let's try it a little bit more and feel the tendons and ligaments, and feel you're breathing through your tendons and ligaments. You're breathing into your groin, tailbone, groin, belly, and up into the brainstem. Ready? And ready? One more time. And one more time. Shout out to previous Qinglong students who did this when they were teenagers on Salt Spring Island. And one more time. And okay, good. So hopefully you can get a sense of that. And hopefully, I mean, just for myself doing that just now, focusing on my tendons and ligaments, breathing in to those panther centers as I was doing the form, made the form feel much different than when I was first demoing it. So that's really, it speaks to the power of breath and engaging your mind deliberately, you know, like on purpose. You will create like really different experiences for yourself without ever leaving your living room. Which, I don't know, could that be useful these days? Okay. Okay, so that's a little bit of panther. And so let's talk a little bit about the warriors for panther. And on breathing. So panther is represents the subconscious mind, instinct, sensuality, and sexuality. When it comes to sexuality, you know, it can be really titillating and really suggestive and naughty to talk about. But it's not in terms of like, you know, it's not sex just for like, you know, in that kind of like cheap way. It's about sex as true intercourse, as true intermarriage of opposites. So the panther approaches sensuality and sexuality as a way of getting to know the world that it lives in. It wants to directly experience things. It wants to directly experience sensations. And all of the sensations, you know, it doesn't put words to the sensations, but by experiencing them and savoring them so deeply, the sensations land, you know, in its mind, in the subconscious, in the unconscious, and they become a vocabulary. And that it's a vocabulary of textures that then become a tool that it can use to understand anything. So it's intercourse, it's sensuality, but for personal alchemy. It's to make yourself bigger through intimacy. So that's how the panther approaches sensuality and sexuality. It's also the master of fear. And like I said earlier, you know, fear is just exhilaration without breath. And so what the panther is really good at is that when it gets a little bit afraid, is finding its breath, finding its use of breath in order to overcome fear. There are a lot of different systems that use breath, and in a way, we've already been doing it with the basic breathing practice. So that forcible exhale is, in some ways, it's already a form of breathing to dissipate fear. So the way that it works is this. When you inhale, sure, your lungs are increasing in their volume, they're getting larger, they're expanding, but that's happening because your diaphragm is getting tighter, right? So the diaphragm gets tighter and it creates a negative pressure, and that causes the air to come in. And so when you're inhaling, that's when you're actually creating a lot more tension in your body. Then when you exhale, your diaphragm relaxes, it expands, and as it expands, it's taking up space, so it's pushing the air out. So as you're exhaling, your diaphragm is relaxing, your body is also experiencing more relaxation. When we inhale, we build up tension. When we exhale, we release tension, just physiologically. There's all sorts of good things too that happen in terms of the heart rate. You get more parasympathetic activity on the exhale. You get more sympathetic activity on the inhale. So parasympathetic is rest and digest. You're relaxing, and sympathetic is fight or flight. And so when you're inhaling, you're readying, and as you're exhaling, you're relaxing. So the basic breathing, you're massaging that whole circuit of building tension and releasing tension. And when you're doing the cleansing breath, it's one large in-breath, so you kind of like build up a certain amount of tension. But then as you exhale, you're kind of accelerating the release of tension. It's kind of like you're dumping out a lot more tension than you took in. So it's a way, it actually really helps release tension. So when I go into, sometimes when I've been in competitions or sparring, I'll just naturally have a forceful exhale where I'm expelling air. And it's cool. One, fills up the room with a lot of noise. Very, very fun, very impressive. But two, it keeps me going. I catch my breath very quickly. I don't get as tired as other people. And again, from a physiology point of view, there's the problem in endurance is not getting oxygen in, it's getting the carbon dioxide out fast enough. What gets you tired is the carbon dioxide that you can't get rid of fast enough. So a lot of breathing practices have this emphasis of breathing in a little bit and then exhaling a lot. And again, it stimulates the parasympathetic system. The vagal tone that we talked about with Tiger, it's great for the vagal tone. So what kind of breathing practice can you do? So Panther has a few really cool ones. First things first, the placement of the tongue. So this is a little bit crazy, but you take the tongue and you use the tongue and you push with your tongue against the back of your head as though you're going to push the back of your head out. Now, of course, if you do that too much, you can't breathe. But do it just a little bit and still have a little bit of a passageway at the very back of your mouth. Now, when Panther breathes, that quality of making the back of your mouth as big and as wide as you can, which is what happens when you press your tongue back. When you press your tongue back, it makes the back of your mouth a bit more enlarged. You can actually breathe in a bit more air, a little bit more quickly. And you can let out more air a little bit more efficiently. It's also what happens there, when a child cries in pain or is surprised, that area of the throat opens up, like reflexively. I keep moving towards the camera here. So you want to create a sense of a very big gap at the back of your mouth in which you can breathe into and exhale from. So there's that quality. And when you inhale, it goes all the way down to the tip of your tailbone, and when you exhale, hits the brainstem and comes out. And you can practice with that visualization. I have found that useful for myself. Now, speed, pacing. This is where Panther and Python meet a little bit. There are different variations in different systems. One of the best systems, and I just want to give a shout out to the people who teach and practice Stemma. They just do this kind of breath work in a great way. But so when I first started doing Panther breath, it was always quick. I create a nice big cavity at the back of my mouth, and you're letting your diaphragm at the bottom just open and close, just pulse quickly, and you're usually moving a lot, so you're not hyperventilating. And over the years, through practice and through exposure to some other martial arts like Systema, what I found is that you can modulate that speed. You modulate the speed to match the intensity. So the more intense the fear or the challenge, the faster you breathe. I'm still keeping everything open. I'm still directing breath in the same way, but it's longer and slower. And that's because there's less stress or less pressure. As things build up, you speed up the breathing and your movement goes with it. Okay? And the idea is that when you're inhaling, it's in through the nose, and then as you're exhaling, it's out through the mouth. In through the nose. This is a bit more tiger, but Panther likes it too. Clears the mind. It clears it clears you mentally. So in through the nose, you're clearing your mind, and then out through the mouth, you're letting go of your fear, and you're letting go of the stress in your body. And so on. So that's kind of a compilation of a few different breathing practices. And so I've given you the stuff that I originally learned with Constantine, and I'm adding on material that I've learned from other disciplines that have really fed it well. You'll have to forgive me. I'm a scholar. I'm an academic, so I have to cite my sources. Okay. So the way that so that's how the Panther breathes, and I've done that kind of breathing skiing down moguls. So like, I love to ski, but yeah, I get scared doing moguls and little jumps, and that breath gives me something to focus on. It's really great in the kind of situation that we're in right now. Whenever you feel a little bit of stress, you're scrolling through your social media, you see something that irritates you or makes you feel, you can have your Panther reflex and dissipate the stun, the mental stun of outrage, and relax your body from the stress of having seen something you don't quite agree with, which is a really important skill these days. And you can do that. You can do that throughout your day, like any little thing that happens. Or if you're just feeling stressed in general, nothing's happening, and the reality of the situation is surfacing, and you're starting to feel a little bit of stress. You can breathe in and exhale in that Panther style. So that's how the Panther uses the breath to move with fear, to use fear as an ally. And that's what the Panther does. It uses fear. It uses fear as an ally. And if you were into Carlos Castaneda, you use death as an advisor. So that sense of mortality, you sometimes use your imagination to prod your fear a little bit, and just to get your system going, and then breathe through it. Okay, so Panther sensuality, Panther fear. Subconscious and fear. Right. So, with let's talk a little bit more about Panther and how it uses fear. I think one of my favorite stories about the subconscious and its relationship to fear and where the panther lives is the story of a guy who was walking along a bridge. So there was a gentleman he was walking along a bridge, and all of a sudden he found himself jumping over the side of the bridge into the water below, wondering what the hell he was doing. He plunges into the water, he comes up to the surface and starts swimming, and as he's taking his first strokes, that's when he realizes that he remembers seeing a little kid having trouble floundering and kind of drowning a few yards away in that same river. And so he was swimming to go save the kid. And so he started swimming before he realized what he was doing. And so this is a great little story that encapsulates the Black Panther. That was a Black Panther moment that guy had. So he had a fearful response, and it wasn't for him; it's for somebody else. And he was uninhibited. Panther is very uninhibited, and uninhibited enough that he could follow his instincts and go, provide help. That's the kind of relationship that Panther has to fear and to its instinctive responses. And this is one of the things about the subconscious and about fear, is that the thing about this is that he reacted before he was conscious of what he was doing. So the subconscious, the instinct, your fear mechanisms are faster than your conscious mind. And that's a sword that cuts two ways. So that can be really good, and you move to go help somebody, but it can also be negative, where for example, you respond to people based on their group membership, the color of their skin, the size of their wallet, in a certain fearful way, and you do that without thinking about it. Your fear just engages before you have time to react. And in this day and age where there's a lot of conflict, it's really easy to get overcome by all that. Panther is a fantastic animal to build a dialogue with all of that going on. So you can't stop your fear from reacting. But what you can do is that once you notice you're reacting, you can notice the tension and then find your breath. And as you inhale, you clear your mind. As you exhale, you clear your body of tension. And you move. So Panther moves, uses the breath, and continues to move fluidly, using the fear as a guide. And not as an order or a mandate, but as an impulse that starts you, and then you can then change your positioning afterwards. Right? So you don't have to suppress and inhibit, but once you find yourself having a reflex, breathe, relax, and then keep flowing, and then go in the direction that is, that feels good. And I could talk a little bit more about the different areas of the brain that relate to fear, like the amygdala in the brain, which is a small little organ. It's about the size of an almond, and basically all information comes into the brain, hits a couple of spots, then goes to the amygdala before it goes to the rest of your cortex. So you know whether you're afraid of stuff before you even know what the stuff is. So, and it's a survival mechanism. And so the amygdala is a really important brain center for the panther. And you can't control the amygdala directly, but you can modulate, you can soften the reactions that come from the amygdala by using your breath. Okay, so that was a lot. So sensuality, fear, and the gateway to dreams. I've talked a little bit about doing dream interpretation, and if you've been taking notes and on your dreams and you want to share them with me and my wife, we'll give you a dream interpretation. We've done that for 1 or 2 people already. And that's a great way of building your library of symbolism. Another great way of doing that is going to movies, reading books, and analyzing the symbolism in art. And you can go online and take classes these days about understanding symbolic interpretation. But that's a really great way of building a bridge to the subconscious mind, to the quality of symbols. And we used to do this with movies all the time with my teacher. And what we would do is that we would go to watch any kind of movie, and we'd look for all of the animals in the characters that were being played in the movie. So the movies like Star Wars or Indiana Jones or something like that. And Chewbacca is a great example. Is an archetype of the Black Panther. Indiana Jones, Black Panther, tiger. Every movie Schwarzenegger is in, tiger. And so you look at art from the point of view of the animals, and you try to identify which character is representing what kind of animal archetype, what element of an animal is a character representing, etc. And you can do the same thing not just with the characters, but with the lighting, the set design, the directing. So you can become a greater consumer of artistic work by referring what you're looking at back to the animals and seeing if you can make connections between the animals as archetypes and symbols with what you're seeing. And that'll build that bridge of symbolism, which is how the subconscious communicates. Okay, and right, I think that's a lot. So let's do a little bit of boa bow. We'll do the panther bow one more time, and we'll do a boa bow, and we'll call it a day. And let's do panther first. So again, feeling the fascia, feel the flagpole rope at the back, feel your tendons and ligaments, feel the cups of the insides of the joints, tailbone, groin, belly, back of the brainstem, and that connection to your fight or flight mechanism in your mind, and using your breath to regulate your fear, to turn the tension of fear into the movement of flow. Okay? So to turn the tension of fear into the movement of flow. And one more time. Good. And boa. One last time. Thank you so much. We'll bow out. So, day 18. Thank you so much for being here today. And that was a lot of information. And for an animal that's supposed to represent pre-verbal thinking, sure was a lot of verbal going on. But I hope that was illuminating, and I hope that it filled in not just the panther, but the system as a whole. And in the future sessions, I'll try and talk about a little bit more about how you can use the animals to identify different personality types of the people that you're dealing with, and how you can identify them like in movies or books and art, because that's just so much fun, and it opens up the whole world to you in a really neat way. There are also, for each of the animals, there are ways that the animals behave and act when they're healthy and when they're unhealthy. And that can be really useful to recognize as well. So if your tiger is healthy or unhealthy, or somebody in your family whose tiger is healthy or unhealthy, you can pick up on that, and you can do things to sort of help them out. So I hope that was interesting for you. All right, so thanks a lot. We're here again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday, so I'm 1 hour later because I have an actual Qinlong class before my Qinlong video. So tomorrow we're at 5:30, same channel at 5:30. All right, everybody. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.